history is to know where you've been. So
I think it's a story that really deserves to be told.
There's so much Black rich history.
Tonight, we honor the voices, victories, and vibrant legacy of Rochester's Black community.
It's a story of strength, creativity, and enduring pride. Good evening, and thank you for joining us as we honor Black history. We often hear comments and questions from a number of people wondering, why is Black history celebrated in the shortest month of the year?
So for some answers, I turn to local members of the group created by Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black History Month. Pamela Reese-Smith and Dina Johnson are members of a group that recognizes the contributions of Black people year-round. And what does ASALA stand for?
So it's the Association for the Study of African American Life and History.
Reese-Smith says as a child growing up in Harlem, she was surrounded by Black empowerment.
I was born in South Carolina. My father was a Tuskegee pilot. I grew up in Harlem during the Civil Rights Movement, so I learned a lot about, my history. I lived my history.
Still, she hungered for a deeper knowledge of her family roots in South Carolina. After 30 years of research, in 2020, she produced a book about the untold story of the first African American elected to statewide office in U.S. history. It was during Reconstruction. And on one research trip to Charleston in 2019, she discovered ASALA.
ASALA is just not an organization talking about Black history, and ASALA is actually documenting Black history.
ASALA is the group established in 1915 by the father of Black History Month, Dr. Carter G. Woodson.
It took me almost 3 years to get chartered because there are requirements that you have to have. You have to have 15 members.
Dina Johnson is what's called an institutional member. But they actually connected through another one of Reese-Smith's passions, turning eyesores and empty lots into flourishing green gardens.
I have four children. I was a teenage mother, and when I first came to Rochester, it was the first time I was exposed to any soil.
Decades later, Reese-Smith's Green Thumb has helped scores of people discover a source of nutrition, self-sufficiency, and pride.
How do we do this work together? How do we uplift Rochester?
In 2020, Johnson created the Monroe County Family Coalition to support people in Rochester. Her desire to teach families about gardening grew into a collective mission to also connect families to their cultural roots.
There's so much Black rich history. People only hear the negatives. They only hear about poverty. They only hear about the things that we need, the social terms of health barriers. And it's so much more to that. And it's so much empowerment of Black history that's evolving even from our ancestors to now.
Johnson, Reese-Smith, and her husband Ken are part of what they call a tiny branch of ASALA when compared to other larger chapters in other cities. But they say they're growing.
A lot of people didn't know about ASALA. What is ASALA?
And many don't know why we celebrate such a deeply rich and varied history during the shortest month of the year. Well, as the story goes, Woodson considered Frederick Douglass, who made his home right here in Rochester, a mentor. Douglass recognized his birthday in February along with the birthday of another symbol of freedom, President Abraham Lincoln. So Woodson designated the second week of February for a celebration that today is recognized throughout the month. And as we know, African American history can be forgotten, overlooked, and even scrubbed. But in Rochester, a project to reclaim what was lost is gaining momentum thanks to local librarians and community members. They're also preserving precious memorabilia for future generations. On the third floor of the main library downtown, inside the local history and genealogy division, grows a special collection dedicated to African American history and culture in Rochester.
We have over 300 special collections materials.
Antoine McDonald is a rarity. He's the only Black male librarian in the Rochester Public Library system.
I have been the only male, and I've been the only one under 30 for many years. I recently turned 32.
He started in 2017, and since 2020, he's been leading the charge to correct inconsistencies about Black history and local records, collect new material, and create a Black archive that's accessible.
We want to address the existing gaps in our collections, and we want to ensure that in the next 50 years, we don't turn around and see those same gaps.
Most of the materials provide an intimate glimpse into the extraordinary and ordinary lives of internationally known leaders like Frederick Douglass and lesser-known figures like Austin Stewart.
This book was published by Austin Stewart, and he was actually a mentor to Frederick Douglass when Frederick Douglass first arrived.
Boxes of photographs, programs, and other memorabilia have been gifted by the family of notable Rochesterians like Charlie Price.
He was Rochester's first African-American police officer for the RPD.
Following the deaths of publishers Carolyn and James Blount, their children handed over the couple's collection of About Time magazines covering 50-plus years of Rochester history. The donation included photo albums and other memorabilia.
We're not really sure who these people are, but these are black military men from 1958.
McDonald works with the city historian and other librarians. This summer, they called on the community to help by serving as volunteers. At the beginning of this year, a 6-member team consisting of city workers, a former journalist, and graduate students completed their training.
We understand that there's no value in allowing this stuff just to sit on the shelf. We want to get it processed, get it digitized, and get it in the hands of people who can learn from it.
In documenting the struggles and successes of black people, McDonald hopes to affirm future generations of African Americans who are born here and those who call Rochester home.
The Frederick Douglass Voice, published by Howard Coles, is the longest-running black-owned newspaper in Rochester.
The publication ended in the mid-90s, and for some people, that might seem like ancient history. So to help bridge the gap between what was the talk of the town in the 30s and trending topics today, the Teen Empowerment Center joined Howard Coles' daughter for an intergenerational dialogue. Joan Coles Howard and other community elders gathered to share what life was like in Rochester.
It's awesome. And the fact that they really are interested. It's not a game. They're really interested is important.
Joan Coles Howard will tell you her parents Alma and Howard Coles created the paper together. And at 85, she says she still believes, as Whitney Houston sang, the children are our future. And she delights in teaching them about important figures here in Rochester.
For the black community, hair is a core part of identity and expression. So I headed over to a black-owned barbershop where they do more than just groom, but serve as cultural hubs of hope.
This must be my reunion day or something.
See it, everybody?
Yeah, what's up, man?
That's the beautiful thing about it. You never know who you're going to run into.
This is just an average day at New Creations Unisex Shop in Rochester. Tucked along Jefferson Avenue, the barbershop stands tall in its 23rd year of uplifting the community, one haircut at a time. And according to owner Willie J. Lightfoot Sr.,
it's the Black Man's Country Club, right? So, and that's real.
A safe haven for connecting, communicating, and cutting with care.
It takes a minute for me to let somebody actually cut my hair because I don't like everybody's hands in my hair.
So like, does a connection matter?
Yeah.
Terry Daniels says he's been going to the shop for a year.
It's all about the camaraderie. It's like this is like church. This is like our church.
And quality care is of the utmost importance at the shop, especially when tending to afro hair, says owner Willie J. Lightfoot Sr.
There are so many different variations and textures of black hair. And because every customer, every client is different, tools that work on them respond differently based on different textures of hair.
Lightfoot Sr. has worn many other hats throughout his life. A soldier, a firefighter, a council member, and now retired, he serves as a pastor and barber.
I've been cutting hair since I was about 15 years old. And so I'm over 50, so that's a long time. I didn't want a desk job. That's why I love barbering so much, because you can set your own schedule, you're working with people, you're outside. Every day is different because every customer is different. I don't like the monotonous. I can't punch a clock and do widgets.
He says he opened the shop in reverence to his father, Willie Walker Lightfoot Jr., a respected Monroe County legislator and entrepreneur who died suddenly in 2001. Willie J. Lightfoot Sr. says his father owned a nonprofit across the street from where his barbershop now stands, but it burned down. His father made him promise to rebuild.
I wasn't never trying to fill his shoes, if you will, because I don't think that could ever be done, but I was at least trying to build off of the momentum and the service. This is a very underserved neighborhood and community. So this is where I decided to plant my flag, to build and say that, hey, you can have things, and we as people of color can have positive things in our community.
As a result of their existence, he believes the neighborhood is changing for the better, slowly but surely.
Well, the community has gotten a lot more calmer. I think it's a result of just some of the work we've done in the neighborhood, you know, from the Jefferson Avenue Revitalization Project to the Total Health and Wellness projects to the Cut the Violence programs.
For now, he says they'll remain a beacon, loving on Black people and especially our hair.
I think our hair, because it comes in so many different textures and varieties, it really makes us so unique in that form, because you can't just pick one Black person and say all Black people hair are like this.
So while this may be an average day at New Creations, the cuts, the culture, and the camaraderie last a lifetime.
Still ahead, I take you inside Sew-In City, where sisterhood, culture, and confidence are woven into every strand.
So, Leah, we've heard about how barbershops can serve as a safe haven for Black men, but what about women and girls?
To answer that, I took a trip to a Black woman-owned hair salon here in Rochester, where sisterhood is a pillar of the hair care experience.
In hair, we just, as a Black woman, you got to take the H off. It's like the air that we breathe, because our crown and our hair is more than just a style. It's really a story.
And there's many stories here at Sew-In City. The hair salon located on Webster Avenue prides itself on offering a luxurious hair care experience while cultivating a sisterhood. Just ask braider Delayla McCullough.
When you come into a setting where you see people who look like you and you see other people getting styles, and it just makes you feel comfortable and trustworthy in your stylist, that she knows what she's doing. She's going to take care of me because she is me.
And that's exactly how client Valerie Barnett says she feels. She's been coming to the shop to see owner Shannon Scott for almost 14 years.
The way she do hair, no one can't match it with my hair. I have a very thick texture of hair, so I enjoy the way that she curls it and how she takes her time with it.
Kiana Stanley shares similar sentiments. She's been a client for a little over a year.
Doing your hair is very like an intimate thing. You definitely want to be able to connect with your hairdresser on that level.
Owner Shannon Scott says creating comfort is intentional.
We want this to be a place of refuge. As you can hear, all the laughter, always filled with laughter, but we definitely want to keep a joyous space.
Braids, quick weaves, sew-ins, silk presses. They do it all here. A rainbow of styles representing the versatility of Afro hair.
Black women aren't the only people who wear weave. No, not at all. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. Extensions installed in or on top of your natural hair to either enhance the fullness, the length, or just to achieve a desired look that you may not be able to achieve with your natural hair.
Stylist Anjanae Wilson says another misconception is that Black women lack confidence because of experimenting with straight hairstyles or changing their look frequently.
Wearing extensions is an extension of. So when we come into this space, it's not about trying to change. It's evolving your beauty. It's an extension of who you are. It's not about making change. It's about extending in the quality of your hair and of your lifestyle.
For Scott, hair is a lifestyle. She says she's been doing hair since childhood, working and charging from home as a teenager. In 2012, she officially opened Sew-In City on Portland Avenue, moving later to the Webster Avenue location. Also a licensed nurse, Scott says she left the occupation after 7 years to pursue her passion for hair full-time, which she says has been the greatest gift.
Just because I'm not taking care of one's health, I'm still taking care of them health-wise some type of way, because when you look good, you feel good. I always say that hair changed my life. It saved my life, really, just because it's not only therapy for my clients, it's therapy for me as well.
So it looks like at Sew-In City, they're sewing more than just hair, but seeds of community, empowerment, and sincerity.
Next, a fallen Tuskegee airman from Rochester and the modern-day pilot rebuilding his plane to keep his legacy alive.
Welcome back. We're shining a spotlight on a project about to take flight.
One designed to keep a local pilot's memory alive and honor his sacrifice. Adam Chodak reports.
Nicknamed Sticks, Leland Pennington was a star athlete at Monroe High School before he started training at Tuskegee Army Airfield in 1943. He married in 1944, then headed off to Europe to defend the free world. On April 21st, 1945, just months before the war ended, Pennington took off in his P-51B Mustang fighter from an airbase in Italy to help escort bombers to Austria. He never returned. He and his plane remain missing. His memory does not. Austin Hancock received stories of him from Pennington's friend Charlie Price. Price was also part of the Tuskegee Group, which was made up of America's first black pilots and support personnel. Hancock met Price at the National Warplane Museum in Geneseo, where his dad, Jeff Hancock, volunteered.
I grew up learning all the different airplanes and just getting my hands on as soon as I became old enough.
That experience, in which he learned about Pennington and planes, inspired Hancock's latest project.
To try and recreate the Mustang, the P-51 he was flying on the day he went missing, as a flying tribute not only to Leland, but also to any of the Tuskegee who never made it home.
Standing inside the Sport Aviation Center at Ledgedale Air Park in Brockport, Hancock gestures to the few pieces he's already collected.
1/100th of what I'd need to get this thing flying is what I have.
Fortunately, he says, parts for the Mustang are relatively easy to come by. Hancock also plans on recruiting people to help out, all while teaching classes on what it was like to fly a plane in World War II, with special emphasis on the Tuskegee Airmen and Leland Pennington.
I think it's a story that really deserves to be told because they're the underdog story. And we have a lot of people today who feel really down and out in society and feel like they need a boost and that they need to be motivated.
Once complete, Hancock's P-51B Mustang should look and fly just like Pennington's. Its name, of course, will also be the same, Lucy Gal. Pennington chose it to honor his wife, who waited for a man who never made it home. Adam Chodak, News 8.
Well, I can't wait to see the final product.
That's right. Lucy Gal will have to keep checking in as he's working on it. Well, we're not finished with our special. We have one more feature to show you when we come back. Moviegoers got a chance to hear directly from animation pioneer Floyd Norman this month.
Norman is the first African-American animator to be hired by Disney, and it seems everywhere you look in animation history, you find his influence in the industry. Veteran broadcaster Richard McCullough moderated the Q&A following the film about Norman's career. He was asked about the evolution of film technology from pencil to pixel.
They think there's a point when technology came to Disney. But the truth of the matter is, from the very beginning, Walt was always testing the limits of technology. He was always experimenting. He had the multiplane camera designed and created and built back in the early 40s. And this was revolutionary for its time.
Disney recognized his ability and quickly hired him, and Jungle Book was the first film that he worked on, and he worked on a number of films.
Norman went on to develop the original Fat Albert TV special, early Sesame Street segments, and classic Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
All right, thank you for joining us as we honor the Black visionaries, creators, and community builders whose stories continue to shape Rochester and the world.
Their courage lights our path, their brilliance fuels our progress, and their legacy reminds us that the work and the hope live on. Have a great night.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.